Now, I do want to give you a thought experiment. Right?
Mm, exciting.
Uh, so, like, let's say like there's this one guy, right? He doesn't know anything about style, right? He unfortunately, let's just say he looks ugly, right?
He looks like who?
He looks ugly, right?
Oh, definitely not me.
Yeah. So, like, let's
Yeah.
just say that, okay? And then now you have like maybe an hour or a whole day maybe to like change up this guy's style. So where do you start and what do you do to
Okay,
like?
that's a good question. The first thing that I would be required to do is get to know him as a person. So, in order to determine how somebody should dress, you really have to have an understanding of who they are. So you have to know, in other words, what occupation they're in, what job do they have? Are they working as a professor or are they working as an electrician? Because largely occupation is going to dictate how it is that somebody should dress. Certain jobs have certain dressing requirements. So that would be the first thing that I would ask and assess. The next thing I would try to get a sense of is who the person socializes with and where they go, right? So are they, socializing with five people and those five people are themselves professionals? How do they dress? Because largely you're going to dress how it is that your social circle would want you to dress, right? So I'd have to do an assessment of that and then look a little bit more deeply at kind of like the places that the person goes, right? So are they choosing to go to Applebee's on a Friday night, which is going to have one certain set of dress requirements, or are they going to a much fancier restaurant? They going to the Padre or something like that, right? So I would map that out. What kind of occupation do they have? What social circles do they have? Where do they go? And that should give me a good sense of where to start with that person. So, if they're working as a professor and they have a social circle of five people who are mostly professional, right? And that person goes to mid to upper scale restaurants, then I might suggest wearing something a little bit more fancy, a little bit more something like what you have on or what I have on, right?
Yeah,
However, if they're a janitor at an elementary school and they like to go to Taco Bell on Friday nights, right?
it would be a bit
That's
more.
probably not the
Yeah,
primary kind of person I'm speaking to. Usually the people who are interested in style are people who are actually seeking career advancement. I'd say that that's the primary motivation for most people.
okay. It's interesting. Yeah.
Did I answer your thought experiment?
No, I think you factored in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have
Personally,
to have a good sense of who somebody is to really get a sense of how they should dress. It's
yeah,
not clothes are not merely like you just put them on and they're whatever, right?
yeah,
That's one of the things that was really really striking to me when I first got interested in style and started to pursuing it as a passion or a hobby or the
yeah,
the hobby that I'm very passionate about, right?
yeah,
But I was like, "Oh, this is significantly more sophisticated than I thought it was. There's actually a lot more to actually being stylish and dressing up well and controlling the impact you have on other people. It's more sophisticated than just putting on clothes."
yeah. I think that's generally a pretty good idea because, and I don't know if this necessarily counts under style per se, but I guess one thing I would probably look at first and foremost would probably, assuming that they have like hair or facial hair. That's probably the first thing I would probably look at. And then after that, then it would be like clothes. Like
Yeah. The interesting thing there is that I don't think why would you start with facial hair?
facial hair.
Yeah, why would you
Well,
start there?
I think it can like, well, assuming they have it, right? So like, yeah, I think like depending on if it's done right, I think it can change the facial structure. I can make them look a lot better.
Certainly, that's the
And I
case.
think it's like one of those things that translates to all types of clothing. Your hair and your facial hair, and because your
Yeah.
your hair's probably not gonna change too much, right? Like maybe you'll comb it or whatever, right? But like generally it'll stay like the same whether you wear a suit or you wear like a shirt.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. So it seems to me like whether you do or do not have facial hair is going to determine like how your face kind of looks.
Yeah.
But I would never say that I would never like discount somebody from wearing something because they have facial hair, right? So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say, by example, like, oh, you have a round beard, so you can or cannot wear a sport coat, right? So
Oh,
a
yeah.
person's facial hair does not dictate what clothes they can or cannot wear. There
Yeah.
might be a little bit there in terms of like color, right? Because I have a red beard, right? There's going to be kind of like contrast in the color, but I would never exclude particular garments based on,
Yeah.
somebody having or not having facial hair.
Yeah. No, no, that's not what I meant, like in terms of exclusion. I meant like more so like something that can enhance their face, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
I would
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
But because I'm interested in
I can
style in
like
terms
amplify
mostly
this.
of clothing, though I am interested also in appearance.
Yeah,
That's why I have that fixation. I'm thinking in terms of clothes. You're thinking more terms of like general or overall appearance.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
true.